Hey everyone, it's John Barrett with Level Up Your Leadership, and I want to help you with a visual leadership lesson so you can be incredible in what you do. I want to talk to you today about leadership blind spots. See, we always talk about strengths and weaknesses when it comes to leadership, performance, and all those things. And this is important to know. Obviously, when we think about our weaknesses over here, these are the areas that we are not good in. The areas that we need to delegate, the areas that we need to just kind of get rid of in our leadership, outsource in our leadership, whatever it takes. But these are the weaknesses. We know them, other people know them, it's all around. And we don't need to spend all of our time improving our weaknesses. And we've talked a lot about this on leadership and the things that I teach about, is that don't spend all your time trying to improve your weaknesses. There's no reason to do that. You're not going to be very good in your weaknesses anyway. Why would you do that? Spend time developing over here your strengths. And these are the areas that you are naturally gifted in, that you are good at, you've grown in. This is what you're known for. These are the things in your genius level that you just do incredible. These are the things that we need to spend our time doing and fill our calendar up with all the things that we've got to do. These are the things that we need to make sure that we are always looking over those things and spending time in that area of strength zone. And so we talk about weaknesses and strengths. You've heard all about these. But one thing over here that I want to talk about is something that nobody really talks about in leadership. And I don't know why, because this is probably the most destructive one. This right here is a great thing. This over here is not so great, but you know, it is what it is. But this over here is what I call blind spots. And here's the thing about a blind spot. We don't even know it's there. Just like when you're driving in a car and you've got blind spots in your mirrors where you don't even see anything. You would argue that nothing's there. And then when you kind of pull over or go into another lane, all of a sudden the horn beeps and you go, where did they come from? Well, it was because it was in your blind spot. You don't even know what's in your blind spot because it's in your blind spot. And this is one of the most destructive things in anyone's life and in their leadership. Because strengths are things that you got to capitalize on. They're great. Weaknesses, they're not great, but you know them and you don't want to spend your time there. Blind spots are devastating because you don't even know it exists. So it's like a neutral face. You don't even know it's there. Your actions or inactions, the way that you communicate, the things that you may say or not say to certain people, that they are causing all kinds of things happening in the wake of what it is that you do. And so the problem with blind spots is this, is that you're not aware of it and you have no control over it. There are things that you are totally unaware of and you don't even know it's happening. In fact, you will fight and say, no, I don't do that. When someone comes to you and gives you feedback and says, hey, you know, when you did this the other day or the way that you lead our meetings, that I don't know if it's being as effective, and we'll if it's in our blind spot, we'll fight for it. We'll say that car was not there. Nobody is there. I'm telling you that's not how it is. And we'll dismiss feedback. And so what happens is that not only is this a negative thing, but it becomes destructive. It literally cancels out your influence and your impact and all the things that you're trying to do. It works against it. And I see this happen all the time in 25 years of leadership coaching and working with leaders, is that they don't see their blind spots. So some things I want you to think about. Number one is this. You just got to be aware. That's one thought. Be aware that you have blind spots. Whether you like it or not, you just hey, I'm gonna do a little self-help with you today right now. Just admit that you have blind spots. If you can do that's a step one. Admit that you have blind spots. Sometimes I find it hard for leaders to even say that. We like to pride ourselves that we know what's going on. We kind of see it all. We're smart. We figured it out. Just admit you have blind spots. So do I. I've got blind spots. I've got them all over the place. So the first thing is I just want you to admit that you've got a blind spot. That's a thought for you to do. Another thought is this, is I want you to get feedback. I want you to begin to ask around and say, hey, listen, talk to me about the things that I'm doing. How am I doing in my leadership? Go to your team every now and then and just say, hey, how am I doing? If you were to rate me on a scale 1 to 10, what would you give me today? And be honest. What are some things I want to work on and improve? Even if they give you a high number and say, well, I think you're doing an 8, boss, or whatever. Just say, how do I get to a 9 or a 10? What do you need more from me? What do you need less from me? I've talked about those two questions, the two bookend questions. What do you need more from me? What do you need less from me? Now, I know that's an intimidating question, and that maybe you could just go to your team and just say, hey, what are some things that I can improve that would be helpful to you in my communication, the way that I carry myself, my leadership, our meetings, all the things that I do when conflict happens? What are some things that I can do to improve that? If you'll just go and begin to seek feedback, you'll start to uncover some of those blind spots, so that at least they can get in to your weakness category over here, that you can even show up on the radar, or just be aware of it so that while you're doing your strength, you can avoid those things and not kind of hit those landmines. So admit that you've got blind spots, begin to seek feedback on it, and then are you ready kind of for a third thought here is this: you got to do something with those. When you admit you've got them and you start getting feedback and you're observing around for those things and you're beginning to look at different perspectives and you're getting that feedback, you've got to do something with it. It doesn't do any good to say, yeah, my actions do that, but that's just the way it is, I guess. I don't know why people respond that way. That's an immature statement. You got to step up as a mature leader and say, what can I do to raise my influence and my impact? And I'm telling you, whether you're a brand new leader or a seasoned leader or whatever it is, you got blind spots. So admit it, get feedback, and act on it. Do something. Take action to work on that so that you can begin to have better influence and more of an impact in all that you do. Listen, if you will think about this, I'm telling you, it's going to help you in your awareness. It's going to help you become a better leader. Now, this is what I also want you to think about this as well. Your team needs to know about this, because everyone on your team has weaknesses and strengths, obviously. And guess what? They've got blind spots too. In the moment as a team, we can start kind of opening up about that and admitting that and getting feedback to one another on some of those blind spots in a constructive way that's helpful, supportive way, not a destructive and calling people out and all that stuff, obviously. And we can do that and begin to take action on the things that we need to do with our blind spots. That's when a team starts coming together and operating in that sweet spot where they are in the zone, in the flow. But a team that doesn't do that, a team that says, John, we don't have time to talk about that, whatever, this is kind of cute, but we got things to do. No. If you're just going to spend all your time over here but ignore this, I'm telling you, it'll sabotage everything that you're doing with your team, with your organization, the mission that you're on, and your leadership and your team dynamic, the culture that you're trying to build. So think about these leadership blind spots in your own life, but then think about how you're going to expose this to your team. Now, you can go to johnbarrettleadership.com and you can get kind of the group guide that you can go through this with, where you've got group questions, all kinds of prompts in there where you can watch this video together and just talk about it and say, hey, what are some areas that we've got blind spots? Maybe even being vulnerable to your team and open up and say, hey, share with me some things that might be a blind spot for me. I want to learn from them, and be willing to listen. Don't retaliate and defend and all that. The moment you do that, they're never going to open back up to you. You've got to be humble enough to receive it. So that means everybody's got to be bold enough to say it. You're humble enough to receive it. And all of a sudden you can work that magic and be the best leader you can be and have the best team around, because you are aware of all these things going on with your team. Reach out to us today so we can help take you and your team to the next level.